Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Ricker.
And I'm Catherine White, Executive Director of the New Rochelle Chamber of Commerce.
And we're here with the brand new podcast, Chamber Chat. So joining us now is Justin Sherman, the CEO and founder of JustinTime Baseball, located right here in New Rochelle. Justin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Matt. Yeah. Catherine, you're spectacular. You're great.
Thank you.
Time flies.
Time does fly.
It really does. And speaking of that, we were discussing off air that you were actually one of my first guests when I was hosting the Chamber Show on WVOX. So that was in April of 2020, right when the pandemic started. And, you were just starting out. You were doing virtual, like, one-on-ones, tutoring kids for baseball, trying to keep them busy. So tell us briefly about JustinTime Baseball, how it was started, and where you're at now.
So JustinTime Baseball is a youth development enrichment baseball training and softball now training company. We're all over Westchester. We're partners with Little Leagues across the county. We're in Bedford, Scarsdale. We're essentially, and you name it, we're essentially a bolt-on third-party solution, a coaching solution for these Little Leagues. We work in unison with the parent coaches. We also do private lessons, camps, clinics. I know we'll probably talk about the player clinics. But really, that's our deal, and it's, yes, we're teaching baseball and softball, but really it's youth development principles through the game. We use it as a vehicle. So that's where we're at, and we got more to go. We're just getting started.
That's great.
So when I met you, you were a solopreneur, just doing the lessons mostly, like we said, in COVID, virtually. How have you grown? How many coaches do you have now?
Well, yes, I was the coach, and just through scalability, just through scaling and continue to evolve our product and our service. We've gone from one coach to now 24 coaches and 2 operation members. So we're at 26 staff members between the coaches and the behind-the-scenes guys.
That's amazing.
It's really great, and you can't do anything by yourself. As far as, especially in this industry, in my opinion, you could be your own kind of coach, character person, Pied Piper, which I try to be that for the kids, all about the kids. But ultimately, in order to scale, you need people. Right. So we're going to continue to do that.
So you've had many of these amazing clinics. Oswaldo Cabrera, Jose Trevino.
You were there at Oswaldo.
And
weren't you? You were there at Oswaldo.
I came to Oswaldo. So you've had so many of these amazing clinics.
New Rochelle resident, by the way.
Really?
Oswaldo Cabrera.
Yeah,
really?
Look at that.
Wow.
We'll be talking about that out there off the air for sure.
But I remember Paul O'Neill too, right?
Paul O'Neill. He lived at
that's a fun fact.
In what's it called? Doral. He used to be at Doral Arrowwood. But that's no more anymore. But yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So these amazing clinics that you have, Cabrera, Jose Trevino, tell us about the impact on the kids. What that has when they see these, superstar baseball players come and walk into the room. What is their reaction?
So they see that it's possible. They basically bringing in these players shows that they could touch and see what's possible. They're just human beings. Jose Trevino, Oswaldo, Paul O'Neill, they're not just great ball players, but they're great human beings. And having these players around our players, I really care. Yes, I care that they're great ball players, but that's not the number one thing to me. They're great human beings, and it shows that they're people too, right? They make mistakes, they strike out, they miss a ball, whatever it is, and they talk about those experiences with the kids and how they bounce back, right? So those perseverance, those life lessons, it really is just beautiful to see that they're just people. That's something I really take away in these we've now done 6 player clinics in the last 5 years, which is unbelievable. And that's what I really take away as I'm saying it out loud here.
Yeah, I've watched them. I've seen them. I've been to some of them. I like the way that, some of those players get down right at the kids' level, and they're talking to them. And, I've seen some kids that might have some special needs come in, and then again, the care those players really exhibit is amazing.
Incredible. They're just great people. Really they are. I really try to vet them, actually. I don't just bring in a name. Yes, it is a name, meaning it's obviously the draw is the player, the fact that they're a Yankee, they're a Met, Dwight Gooden, et cetera. But like every single one of them have to just be great with kids. I care more about that than, because I will tell you, I've dealt with players in the past just through other various things, and they mean well, but they don't maybe not connect as well with the kids. And not that it's a negative or they're doing it on purpose, but I find that number one, being great with kids.
So, I've been to some of your clinics, and I see the way your staff interacts with the kids as well. And one thing that I noticed is that your staff doesn't talk at the kids. They get down on their level, as we said, and they actually like work with them. So that's something that definitely, I'm sure, has an impact, because when you have like somebody who's 6 foot plus tall, like screaming at the kids, that's not going to be effective, as you can probably
I will tell you,
explain.
not one coach could step on the field at JustinTime Baseball without being trained by yours truly, meaning and train not necessarily on the baseball and softball skill development, but delivery of instruction, the management of young kids, and obviously the empathy for young kids. You have to have empathy when you're giving instruction. If you have to think, I say this to every single one of our coaches, you have to think, if you were that 6 or 7 year old kid, would you understand your instruction? Would you, resonate with the instruction? I bring in speakers from all over the country to speak to our coaches on not only the skill development, but like the mental aspect, the behavior, peeling the layers. Like, I go really deep on this. And I'll tell you, a lot of our coaches barely played high school or college baseball, but they're trained. They don't step on a field without being trained with these principles. I take it dead seriously.
Well, it shows, because, I mean,
great.
The growth that you've had has been amazing. It really has. What was the most recent clinic you've done?
So we just did a clinic with New Rochelle's own Josiah Gray.
Ooh.
I am a youth ambassador with the Play Ball Initiative with Major League Baseball, and I'm sure we'll dive into that briefly, but I just did a clinic with them at Tochi Field in New Rochelle with 125 kids.
Nice.
It was a cleat giveaway. He paid for cleats for every single kid to get a pair of cleats.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It was awesome. Vin Parisi was there.
Oh, Parks and Rec.
He was there.
Commissioner.
You were there in spirit. You're there. Your presence is there. But it was great. It was amazing. Great community. Again, great kid. Just a great kid. Showing these kids that anything's possible and that they're people too.
Especially, you have the New Rochelle effect. Like, hey, he went through all New Rochelle schools, graduated from New Rochelle High School, played on the baseball team there,
That's
and now
100% right.
Now he's in the major league. So when you see that, someone who has like a local effect, they can take that and say like, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
That's 100% right.
Yeah.
100% right. And I even said in a lot of the talks that I had with the players, with all these players, I say, listen, maybe not the major leagues, but if you want to make it to that next level, whether it's middle school baseball, high school baseball, here are the things you need to do. Here are the things that this player did to get to the next level, and even the major leagues. But it shows them what's possible.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, that's great. Now, so you mentioned the MLB Play Ball program ambassadorship. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You told us off air that you are just one of 4 across the country, so that's very unique.
Yes.
So tell our
give or
listeners.
take. There's some other player, coach, ambassadors, but give or take as far as non-professional ball player. But essentially, play ball is in the word. It's essentially getting kids to play ball across the country and around the world, inspiring them through giving them maybe some of these areas that might not have the resources, rec departments, little leagues, etc., schools. Every kid gets a bat and ball set by Franklin Sports.
Wow.
And every kid gets a free subscription to MLB TV.
Wow, that's
so
amazing.
It's really inspiring kids to get out, play ball, watch the game, grow the game. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So I'm aboard there as one of the Pied Pipers. It's been an amazing experience and an honor.
So do you run those events? I mean, do you set up those events, or just
So I have been setting up a lot of these events in Westchester. They actually have given me the autonomy to kind of do my thing there. But again, they've sent me to Vero Beach, Florida. I went to Washington, D.C. I went to Maryland. I went to where did I go recently? I went to New Jersey. So really like the tri-state area and the East Coast and it's been great. It's been
Yeah,
great.
because I saw you on Instagram in different places. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's expanded as we went and expanded for sure. And let's see what happens.
That's amazing. So if someone has a son or daughter who is looking to get into softball or baseball and they're unsure of where to start and they want to get lessons,
JustinTime baseball.
Yeah. What would you recommend?
I would obviously biasly recommend my program, but I don't know if that's the angle we're going at.
That is the angle we're going
Yeah,
at. So
I guess that's what this podcast is, right?
So what age group do you target?
So we really start with ages. Thank you for keeping me back on track. I get off track. 4 to we start at 4. Like really, like ages 4 to 10 is our sweet spot.
Okay.
That's really our sweet spot. So we have kids that have just started playing at 8, 9 years old. I love when I get a player like that. That's like 8, 9, because people think, oh, he's 9. He doesn't, he missed the little league cutoff. I'm like, he's 9. He's not 19. So like you could start at 9. You could start at 12, whatever. Like some of the best major leaguers started playing at like 13, 14 years old. So to answer your question, we start at 4, and we dominate these rookie programs, and it's really like a curriculum-based model where it's a skill, then instructional gameplay, where it's constant instruction. Kids stop the game, the coaches stop the game, and they'll break down each piece of the game and the skill. And also every single session, we do a word of the day. So it's either hustle, positivity, and how does it relate to not only on the field, but off the field.
When you said word of the day, I thought you meant SAT word.
Definitely not that, but no, it's, we have to also, I think a big thing, and I don't know if this is part of the question, but I'm going to add to it, and this is what I think our program does a great job of biasly, but we're always continuing to sharpen our tools. We need to reward the intangibles, right? So like we'll be constantly giving out baseball cards, Pokemon cards, not for home runs, but for kid had a great attitude. He hustled off the field. He was a great sport. He was a great teammate. We're constantly I give it positive bribing, right? Like that's to me that's a way to grow the game, and that's what I'm doing also with play ball, like and JustinTime. It's really trying to grow the game, expand it, and make kids fall in love with it. And I think it's by rewarding the intangibles for sure.
That's great.
So I've got a question that the whole time I've known you, how did you come up with the name JustinTime Baseball?
Catherine, I got to thank my mother. She goes,
I knew it.
You're Justin. Listen, you came out of the womb just in time. So it's play on words. It's my mom. She thought of it. So.
No, I've met your mom. She's at so many of your events. So is your dad. She's so sweet. And, I know she really is. They're all so proud of the way you've grown this business.
Appreciate it.
You were one single person when I met you on a field, and then you're like, now I'm locked in my backyard. How am I going to do this? And you pivoted so much. I remember in COVID, you were coaching players, and they were in Boston, they were in Colorado. I remember watching that on your Instagram. And then you started with were they calling them bubbles or pods, kids on a block?
It started on a Zoom, and I did a phys ed class with a broomstick for hockey, bowling with water bottles and a rolled up pair of socks, and it literally caught on like wildfire. It was a baseball theme. I also have my master's in phys ed, not to sound like pumping my chest.
You were doing it at the same time, right?
Right.
You were going to
so
school
I was,
your master's.
while trying to grow the business, getting my master's, and I say that because during COVID, like Matt was saying, like kids needed, like it was obviously I'm saying something we all know. It was the unknown. So that was like their hub, right? That's where I thought of the word of the day. Like everything was word of the day. There was a skill, but it was all about talking about just positivity. The future's bright. Stay strong. It was great. So
I mean that the fact that you had those virtual lessons and activities, I'm sure made all the difference to some of the kids that participated, because when you have a kid that's behind the screen for 6-7 hours a day doing their schoolwork, all that screen time is not good. I mean, they need to get outside, they need to get some fresh air, or even if they're not going outside, just do some sort of physical activity even in the house.
100%. It was a beautiful thing, and it's great. Like Catherine was saying, like literally you had kids every day meeting, and one kid was from New Rochelle, one kid was from literally Florida or Boston or Arizona, and it became like a little family. It was beautiful. It was great. I mean, that really was the kickoff to JustinTime.
Right. I do kind
company.
of always talk about you when people talk about like what is a chamber and what type of members do you have, and I talk about you as an example of a young person who, in COVID, a solopreneur who could have folded and pivoted so hard that you've become so successful and you've branched out so much. I know that you're in so many different towns, but you also like work with some of our chamber members like Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
And you support players there who may not necessarily have the funds to be in your
Yes. So that's and they're very nice, but I just got a call a couple of weeks ago that they're actually going to be honoring me at the golf outing.
Oh,
that's
Coming up in May.
Congratulations.
And I only say that
Well
because
deserved.
you never know. I only say that not to I say it. It's all about the kids, and I also think just in the business, and we're on the chamber show. Obviously, this is great. Like, who knows what opportunities happens? You never know. If you're open to opportunity, like who would have known? Who would have known that would even happen with the Boys and Girls Club? It's about filling a need and doing what's right, and the right thing usually happens, and things pay off. But Boys and Girls Club's great. They're a great partner. We try to do as much giving as we can to them, for sure.
And
That's
I do
amazing.
appreciate that. I've seen that before. Yet, I followed again their chamber members. So when I hear that, you've brought this many kids, to a clinic just, because they couldn't have afforded it otherwise, I think it's just amazing.
It's all about the kids. It's all about the kids.
All right. Well, Justin Sherman from JustinTime Baseball, thank you so much for coming by, and
Thank you.
I look forward to having you on in the future.
Appreciate you both. You're great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.